What's up, Arizona? You're watching 12 Sports tonight. I'm Cameron Cox. We're going to catch up with the rest of the crew here in just a moment. Every week, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us on the 12 News 24/7 free streaming app, talking all things Arizona sports. As always, we're going to tell you the important stories, the ones that matter, and introduce you to people that inspire. This is 12 Sports Tonight, Arizona's OG and longest running sports show, streaming for you for free. Let's go.
Those Diamondbacks
are fun to watch.
Playing some ball.
Listen, we'd like to apologize to everybody in the newsroom.
You guys were so loud this afternoon.
You guys were trying to meet, discuss the day, and I know you hear us banging on the table and reacting. Guys, it was just such a great game. One of my favorite wins of the year. One of my favorite moments of the year, really one of my favorite series wins of the year. Today was big time for the D-backs. And guys, check this out. D-backs sweep by the Bay, the hottest team in baseball. They just keep on winning. This is a great example of how tough this team is in the eighth inning. They're up 3-2, one out. The rookie, Ryan Waldschmidt. Okay, he misses the ball in left field. It drops, so we got a runner on second, right? It happens, right? It's bright, it's sunny. Next batter, he's gonna line it out to the outfield. Jorge Barrosa's coming in. He missed it. Waldy, though, he comes up firing to Jose Fernandez, and they get the out at home. Yes. You kidding me? So, guys, we got 2 outs.
Okay.
Right? Then watch Kevin Ginkel. Wait for it. Got him at second base, catching the Giants sleeping. And just like that, the inning is over. Watch the catcher here. Look, he's going to give Ginkel the sign, tell him to throw it to second. And, folks, that is how it's done.
Ooh, did he get him, though?
Yeah, he did. He's out.
Oh, that looked pretty close.
It is close, but he's out. D-backs winning 3-2. Paul Sewald gets his 14th save of the season. The D-backs, they just keep on winning. They're playing some bad teams, but you got to beat them, right?
A little bit of a gut check today. It wasn't easy. I think we were a little bit gassed. We're tired, and it's been a long journey of 13 or 14 straight, and these guys just kept fighting. There was 2 no bigger plays than the pickoff in the 8th, and then the recovery play by both the left fielder, center fielder, and then ultimately Fernandez get that massive out at home plate.
Yeah, guys, just some of my favorite plays of the year. Hey, guys, here's the deal. Since May 9th, the D-backs are 14-4. That is the best record in all of baseball right now. They are 7 games over 500. Finally, after 13 straight games, they get a day off tomorrow. Next up, they travel to Seattle to battle the Mariners, who are, by the way, in first place, and they come back home for a series against the Dodgers and the Nationals. Next Friday, we got a baseball game right here on 12 News. And guys, talk about a team that's just pushed all the right buttons at the right time. Listen, I get it. The Giants and Rockies aren't near the top of baseball by any means, but we've seen in years past where they have struggled against teams at the bottom of baseball. Take care of business, and then all of a sudden it makes the harder games a little easier down the road. D-backs have set themselves up really nice for entering the summer now. And remember, help is on the way. They're going to get some top arms back, not only in that bullpen, but that starting rotation too as well. Keep on winning, build that cushion, and see how this all plays out come September.
That guy they paid all the
Corbin Burns.
$100 million.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming. He's going to pitch for him.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's throwing some bullpens. That's now. Great. He's starting to ramp up his recovery. Torey Lovullo talked about him next week. Corbin Burns talked last week too as well. He's going to start getting some games out there at the complex. So his target date is still the All-Star break. Wow. So they're going to get the ace of their staff, their best pitcher, back, and before the end of the year, they're going to get their 2 best bullpen arms back too as well.
Hey.
So help is on the way.
A lot of arms.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Suns now, because in OKC and in San Antonio, those are the teams that they're ultimately going to have to match up against if they want to get to the mountaintop. Matt Ishbia said in his final press conference of the season that his heavy preference is to keep the gang together and to grow internally and to develop the guys that they have currently on this roster. What do you make of that? That the right long-term direction for this team?
No, I agree. But I always think, and they know it, you always have to at least tweak some things and add some things. But I think from a nucleus point, I thought they had a tremendous year. I thought they surprised a lot of people. Energies obviously played a serious role with them. So it's about staying healthy and then maturity. Malawak is going to be better next year. Rasheer Fleming is going to be better next year. Ryan Dunn's going to be better. And it's just that patience that's going to help them. But my thing is they need to get physically stronger. If that's a power forward, maybe that can really protect them. Yeah. Devin's really never had a bodyguard that's truly a bodyguard. He's had the P.J. Tuckers of the world. He's got the Dillons of the world. Yeah. But, you need that big 6'9" dude that's just ferocious. that
can take your head off every now and then.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure the Suns are going to look for that. But also challenge Rasheer Fleming to get stronger and to get better, because maybe he can be that one.
Eddie, you and I have talked about this a lot, how much fun you had watching this team play and the way they kind of rallied the Valley once again. I think a lot of that goes to Jordan Ott and what he was able to get this team to buy into. What did you make of year one for him?
No, Jordan did a tremendous job. He truly did. His demeanor, I think, was very good in regards to having a young team, a team that really, they had to piecemeal together. There was a lot of different parts they had to bring together. And I thought Jordan did a tremendous job in his communication and how they gave him the freedom to go out there and play, all those things. And, look, he knows that at times this year maybe he made some mistakes, but that's what you do when you're a young coach.
Sure.
But overall, no, he was tremendous. I mean, he was the guy that I would have loved to play for. Because,
really?
Oh, yeah. Well, because, he gives a lot of rope to these guys to go out there offensively and play.
It doesn't overreact, right?
He doesn't overreact. He gives them that opportunity and just wants them to just pay attention to detail. And that's how you grow young players. And I really look forward to seeing how much these guys grow over the offseason.
You mentioned Devin Booker just a bit ago. How do you think he's looking at this offseason? Does the way things ended against OKC and his performance in particular, that can't sit well with him, right? And you mentioned him not having a bodyguard. Other people will point out he doesn't have a true point guard. Where does the blame fall, and how does Devin Booker kind of weigh all those things internally? Does he feel some responsibility for how the season ended, or is this just a matter of putting the pieces around him to let him shine?
No, I think he definitely feels responsibility. I think, he takes losses hard. He takes having a bad game hard. Devin's had to make more adjustments than any star player in this league over the years. He's had to make adjustments to different players, right? It started when he first came in. He had to adjust to proving to Jeff Hornacek that he should be able to play, right? And then after that, the Ricky Rubio experience, learning from Ricky Rubio, then Chris Paul, then Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal coming on. So he's had to make that unselfish adjustment, because he was a guy that could score a ton of points, but it wasn't working with wins, right? So what he does is what? Give into it and try to play unselfish and try to play the right way. I think he's kind of caught in how he should play. My thing with Devin is just go out there and be aggressive, and let everybody else fall in line around you. And I would imagine that's going to be his mentality when he comes back next year.
We mentioned Dylan Brooks. His impact on this team, it's hard to really say, Eddie, because he just brought that toughness that they were missing so much. What did you see from Dylan, maybe behind the curtain a little bit, let you know, man, the Suns got themselves a really good one.
Right. Well, I loved him ever since he's come in the league. I even told him that when he was a young player at Memphis. He just got an old school feel to his game. I think what Suns fans have recognized is past the interactions that he has and the text that he gets, that this guy can play basketball.
Yeah.
And I think he showed us this year a lot, because I didn't realize that his post-up game was as good as it was.
Or the shooting.
And his shooting. I knew he could shoot the ball, but I just didn't. His post-up game, his balance, how he handled the ball, I just thought that he showed that he can do a lot of things, and it's not just about his defense. And more importantly, the leadership, how the guys really rallied around him and how he is a magnet for the guys. Me traveling with the team and just watching it and observing and just watching how they interacted with him, how he interacted with Devin, two guys that had really bumped heads a lot on opposite teams. I just think he's a connector, man. Yeah. And not only him, Jalen Green, man. I was really surprised at how just infectious Jalen Green was. You're talking about a guy that was hurt all year, but he was over there on that bench supporting guys the entire season, cheering them on. After interviews, when the game was over, right there, having fun with them. Always a smile on his face, and I root for him. I truly do, and I hope he can stay healthy, because I think his impact next year can be unreal.
Jake, I was going back through a lot of Eddie's old video today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I found a lot of great jump shots, but I heard the famous Al McCoy on a call of one of them, and it just made me think about y'all's relationships over the years, and we all miss Al.
Yeah.
What did he mean to you, Eddie, and how much did he help you kind of grow in this broadcasting career?
Well, I mean, he was my mentor. When I first got into this business, I really didn't know exactly what I was doing. I took internships before I came on board. I even called a year at ASU. And I showed up, and I was very observant and watching Al and how he prepared for the game and all of that. He had his whiteboard. He's got the names and all of that on there. And I come with my whiteboard, and I sit it next to him, and it's taking up space. And I'm ready to go. I'm pumped up. I want to show Al who I am. And he looked at me, and he took the whiteboard.
I was about to do it.
And he ripped it. And he threw it. He said, "You don't need that." And I was like, should I hit him or should I? No, I'm just kidding. But I got it.
Yeah.
And
he wanted you to be you.
Well, that's the way I call games.
Yep.
It's not about numbers. It's about me explaining to the audience what just happened, what should happen. And that's what I've gone through my career in doing. And I believe the play-by-play guys and all the guys I've worked with, from Tom Leander, Gary Bender, Steve Albert, now my boy, tight shirt, Kevin Ray. I mean, I all let them have their thing. I let them have their numbers, and I just sit there and have fun. I know sometimes the fans think my stories go to a little bit overboard and all of that.
We appreciate your stories.
Hold up. I don't care. So, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do it my way, and that's the way I've been taught to do it.
I have a question for you. You said you don't care about, the reaction that you might get from those stories. Do you care at all about these current NL wildcard standings that we're about to take a look at? I mean, your Cubbies have lost 10 in a row. What's going on?
Are you?
All due respect to Diamondbacks, who's playing well right now, and I love the Diamondbacks. I do watch them, but I am a diehard Cub fan. I always will be. I think everybody that's followed me in Arizona knows it. Yeah. And I live and die with the Cubs. I watched basically 150 games last year. I'm not doing it this year.
Because you're dying right now.
Yeah, I am. How do you win 10? How do you win 10 in a row twice and now you lose 10 in a row? I just don't know, man. It drives me nuts. But it is a long season, and from first to last. Yeah. I mean, they were the number one team 2 weeks ago. Now they're in last place. I have no idea. But hey, the Diamondbacks.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
He's upset.
It's May.
Yeah.
It's May.
We got a long season to go. There we go. Suns analyst Eddie Johnson, one of the biggest baseball fans you'll ever meet. You ever want to talk some baseball, just tweet him. He'll respond to you. I promise you that.
Let's get Michael Bush to pick it up.
There we go.
That's what they need. New head coach Mike LaFleur's football career started in a humble place. He played Division III college football, where he started as a backup quarterback, then transitioned to a soft-hitting safety. LaFleur's physicality was never really his strength, but his intelligence and his leadership skills are how he's risen to be an NFL head coach. What Mike LaFleur lacks in age, he makes up for in experiences that have aged him well. Yes, LaFleur might not look like a leader of grown men, but he's done it before and says he can do it again.
I could talk for days even leading up to that, and so I'll try not to bore everyone.
LaFleur's college playing career was far from boring. It's where he burst onto the scene. Elmhurst University now, Elmhurst College then, a school located in the shadow of Chicago.
Elmhurst was awesome. Again, just college football, D3 at its finest.
Some call it a hidden gem. Former coaches say the football resources were impossible to find.
Didn't have the stadium, didn't have the budget, coaching staff, didn't have the tradition.
We were definitely more the have-nots than the haves.
We had like one or two, washers and dryers for all of our stuff.
Not one of the places that is known as a football powerhouse.
But for 4 years, it was LaFleur's home. Tom Jurnell was his head coach for 3 seasons, starting in 2005.
His enthusiasm is so contagious. And then he had this brilliant football mind.
That big brain was given a big responsibility in 2006.
A different offense coming out, quarterback Mike LaFleur.
We had our starting quarterback go down his sophomore year, and he ended up starting. He wasn't quite ready, but it was baptism by fire.
LaFleur didn't light up the scoreboard.
He couldn't throw the ball way down the field like everybody wants, but he was very smart.
He dinked and dunked his way to the 4th best completion percentage in school history. Jurnell remembers LaFleur more for his leadership, like the time the team played an exhibition game overseas.
You take 38 guys to Italy, 9 days, they're gonna have some fun. And I'm like, that's the last thing I need. He came up to me. He's like, Coach, you enjoy your time with your family. I know how you're thinking. You're worried about us. You don't have to worry about us.
The legend of LaFleur took another turn his final year.
Got moved to safety my senior year. I was a quarterback for 3 years. I got moved to safety. Probably shouldn't have been starting talent-wise, but I could get the other 10 guys lined up.
A different coaching staff was behind the decision.
Well, it was just his last year of football, right? So do you want to play or do you want to watch?
Tim Lester, the head man, Joe Adam, his defensive coordinator.
Being the team guy that he is, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever I need to do so we can win.
Elmhurst won its most games in 20 years. LaFleur more finesse than ferocious.
We kept him in the post most of the time, ball skills, movement skills. He made tackles. I don't know if he knocked anyone out of any games.
Some of the things that maybe he didn't have in the physicality part, he made up with technique and smarts and being in the right place at the right time.
2 decades later, that story repeats. What it took to play running parallel to what it'll take to coach.
We had to have a cerebral guy who could be a calming voice back there.
A reminder that looks can be deceiving.
He hasn't changed since he was a senior with me.
LaFleur better defined by the long road.
The spots that he was at were not all glamorous.
Yeah, it was difficult, but I think that adds to the DNA of what Mike really was about.
That is going to resonate, I think, with Arizona Cardinal fans, and they are going to love him for that.
Guys, everyone talks just about how much of a whiz kid LaFleur is on the offensive side of the ball, but I think it can take him a really long way that he also has the experience on the other side of the ball. You look at Sean McVay, you look at Kyle Shanahan, and everyone who's come from that coaching tree, they have a holistic view of how to run an NFL team. They have experience coaching the side of the ball that they are not experts in.
Sure.
Makes them more well-rounded. It makes them and allows them to understand what opponents are trying to do to them and how to counteract those things. And LaFleur even said it in his introductory press conference. That one season that he spent at safety still sticks with him to this day and informs him as to how he sees going about his business on the offensive side.
And we've kind of seen that so far in OTAs, right, guys?
Yeah.
Where, like, the defensive guys talk about how much they appreciate Mike LaFleur being in the room, from Mac Wilson to Will Johnson, all the guys. Like, he's in there. He called defensive guys, they have different personalities. And you got to be a little crazy to play defense.
Yeah.
He understands that. Jake, listen, you talk to a lot of people. Your main takeaway in like, listening to all these people that knew Coach back then was what?
Well, they felt like he was destined for something like this as soon as they met him. He has a football mind. He comes from a football family. Yes, he was not the best player in the world, but that's okay because sometimes all it takes is an effective communicator and someone who just understands the X's and O's like nobody's business to take an NFL team to the next level. I'm not saying that the Cardinals are ready to make that jump this year, but I think based on what we heard from these people that they have a guy who's capable of doing that eventually.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing what he's able to do and how he's able to grow as a coach based on what he's been able to do in the past.
Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Sports team assemble. The Valley gearing up to celebrate the greatest Cardinal ever. Going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame here very soon. 12 Sports there in February when Larry got the news he'd be inducted into the 2026 class. We will be there in Canton in August for the Hall of Fame game and, of course, the ceremony. Hall of Fame game, by the way, right here on 12 News. But first, we got a very proud dad alert. Like many of you, Fitz out this weekend out of graduation, watching his son Devin graduate from Brophy. Devin already enrolled in college at Notre Dame. Also this past week, Fitz out in our community, hosting his annual Supper Club event over there at Dominic's Steakhouse one final time. Larry, 20 years with your foundation, 16 years here with your Supper Club. If you had to put into words what this night means and to celebrate a phenomenal job you've done in this community, how would you sum it up?
Just gratitude, but I also know I play wide receiver. Like I've never caught a pass that I've thrown myself. And this organization has been a recipient of a lot of generosity in this city and around the country. And like our goal from this point out, this being our last, to be great facilitators of the capital that we then want to raise. And like that is our main focus. So this might be our last event, but it's definitely not an ending of any source to what we've been working on and what we continue to work on as an organization. And you know, like I have a strong motto: it's always better to leave early than to stay too late. You know. Yeah.
We still wish you would have stayed on the field a little bit longer. You know that.
No. Everybody got to get a turn.
Yeah.
Everybody get a turn.
When you think about what's next for you in this community, what is next?
Well, I'm just continue to keep pouring my energy and time and resources into the organizations I've been focused on. This last year, Banner and MD Anderson partnered partnered with me to be able to open our breast cancer center. And like, I want to continue to do good work in this city. This city has given me everything and more that I could ever dreamt of. You know, I would have never, if you had asked me, 20 plus years ago when I got here in 2004, if this is what it would have.
Sure.
I'm not talking about the football. I'm talking about everything. You know, my kids being born here. Like, it's just been an amazing journey, and I owe so much to this community. You know, I'll never be able to repay the things that I was able to get in terms of the love and the support and just all the things. You know, I still go out in restaurants and people are still very kind and lovely to me, and I haven't played in a meaningful game in 5 years, right? And
they still want you to play.
Yeah, it would be bad. My reputation would drop like an anvil. If I went out there and played. You know, they got Marvin and Michael and the guys
Trey.
out there, Trey and Jeremiah. Now, like, I wouldn't even play. That's the even if I was out there, I wouldn't
that whole
play.
group, come on.
No, I couldn't get out there. I couldn't do it.
Speaking of the Cardinals, I saw you talking to the rookies. Yeah. It's crazy how life works. You were that rookie at one point all those years ago, and now you're giving advice to the young kids. What'd you tell them?
Well, I just told them it goes by so fast. I mean, like, cherish these moments. I know sometimes you're out there in practice, it's 100 degrees out, and you're like, man, I just want to get over with this. And, like, when you get finished and you're older, you're like, you would do anything to have the opportunity to go work on your craft and doing something that's a lot of fun that you dreamt about as a child. And so, like, really focus on that, develop relationships. Like, when you get out into the real world, it's very different, landscape. And so really cherish those moments.
What do you think of our Cardinals and new head coach Mike LaFleur? You had a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I love Coach LaFleur. Got a chance to meet him a few times. His energy is infectious. I love, his approach on ball and how passionate he is about, not only football, but the guys, just being out there in practice and seeing the tempo and how he talks to all the players, builds relationships. That's something that's really cool. And so I'm on board. I want to see them do well. As always, I'm a lifelong Cardinal guy.
All right, your Hall of Fame is coming up.
There's a lot more logistically that goes into doing it. And, I'm just so grateful for Michael and Nicole, everybody over at the Cardinal organization. They've been so supportive through this process. And, it takes a village. And, and I know Mr. Bidwell and my mom are up there watching and very happy that, we'll be able to do this together.
Are you excited, counting down the days at all?
I've talked to a bunch of guys who've kind of gone through the process, and they're like, Larry, like, try to make sure you take it all in and really focus, because, like, this is the 1 year, and you'll be going back every year, but, like, it'll be a very different experience. And so trying to make sure that I enjoy the process. I think if I could take back one thing throughout my 17 career, I don't think I enjoyed it as much, because I was so focused on trying to win a championship, trying to elevate my team, bringing people along with me. I never really smell the roses, so to speak. And so I'm trying to do that now.
The Vegas Shoot is the world's largest and most prestigious indoor tournament. It features 4,000 archers from 70 countries and all 50 states. Phoenix's Charlie Johnson competed there for the 4th time back in March, defending his title as the Vegas Shoot's oldest participant. Charlie is 104 years old, and you might have seen him on your Instagram feed. He's kind of gone viral on social media. And the World War II veteran's passion is inspiring people from around the world.
The old age doesn't bother me. It doesn't seem, I haven't caught up with it yet, because I still feel much younger than they were talking about. 4 years old, People ask me, what's my secret? I don't know. I think I just lived a normal life.
That's putting it modestly. Charlie has seen a lot over the last century. These days, he's happiest holding a bow and arrow and looking at a bullseye 20 yards away.
The joy of archery is to be able to say, I'm an archer. And that means a lot.
He got hooked on archery through his golf buddies, and his wife Bonnie has been his biggest cheerleader.
But the main thing is when you draw, you learn all of this, and to stay focused, until you come out there. And then the release is just, that's the most beautiful part of it, is the release, And seeing the arrow sail, but staying focused, it's hard.
Charlie's been defying the odds his entire life. Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, less than 0.5% are still with us today.
Being drafted, you've never been out of the state. You hadn't been no place. Then all at once, so you get a letter that said, you got to leave home. You got to leave home. You got to come and join the Army. And you're looking around you and saying, why? But I said, I'm going to show them. I'm going to be the best damn soldier they ever seen. And I meant it. And I tried the hardest I could be. That's why I did so good in the Army.
Charlie accepted every challenge the Army threw at him. Danger was an afterthought.
And they put me on this ship to go to cross the Pacific. And before I got out of sight of the Golden Gate Bridge, I felt like I wanted to die. I was so sick, seasick, you know. And then we went up to China Seas, all the way up to Luzon and the Philippine Islands. And we joined General MacArthur, and we followed him back down to Batangas. But I was on the way to Japan when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. So I came back.
Back stateside, Charlie continued a life of service as a deacon and hospital chaplain. He'll turn 105 in June. He's not revealing his secret to longevity, but we know staying active and social are essential.
I love people. I love people. I love friends, you know.
Charlie's become the celebrity centenarian of the Vegas shoot.
And they just loved me there. Charlie, I want to take a picture of you. Can you take a picture of you? Can you take a picture of this?
He finished ahead of some competitors this year, but wasn't satisfied with his results.
And what happened, I didn't do very good at all. So I was just totally distracted.
So he'll keep aiming to improve in 2027.
I try to go good now. I don't. And I didn't go to shoot to win nothing anyway. I just enjoy it.
Charlie is an inspiration, never too late. And, you know, just make some friends. Build your community.
He's the best. He's the best. Awesome story, Lena. And that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for watching 12 Sports tonight on the 12 News Free 24/7 streaming app. I'm Cameron Cox. We'll see you back here Sunday night for the best sports coverage in town. Here's the lineup. Arizona's #1 sports show, 12 Sports Locker Room, right after Sunday Night Baseball, right here on NBC. And then, of course, 12 Sports tonight at 10:30. Good night. God bless.